Some of you expressed concern last month when I had this thing going on in my hip and couldn't stand. It's gone. So thank you for all your positive prayers and thoughts. So today I'd like to talk to you about faith and how we can understand that in a way that maybe is a little different than what most of us have had in our life. I'd like to talk to you about the senses of the heart. And as we've been told, see if I can get this working.
Make sure it's on.
It's on.
No, I'll take it for you.
Is it?
It's on. There we go.
I clicked it for you.
Okay. So this is the first week of Advent. I grew up in a fundamentalist Christian church, so we didn't celebrate Advent. Advent was some man-made thing. We went straight to the New Testament and focused on that. And so Advent to me, I couldn't quite get my head around it for a long time. But what I know about Advent now is that Advent is about preparing ourselves for the coming of Christ, for the birth of Christ. And in many traditions, many Christian traditions, it's about anticipating an external event. But for unity, it's about preparing for an internal event, something that happens within us. And so we have a manger, we have a place within us that we prepare for that coming, for that birth. And it's a rebirth that happens over and over and over again, not just this time of year, but as we come to a fuller and fuller awareness of the divine within us, we rebirth the Christ consciousness. And so the New Testament, one of the most famous passages about faith is Hebrews 11:1, which says, we all know it, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's King James Version. Substance in that passage is a Greek word upostasis. Stasis we've talked about before. Stasis means to stand or to be a particular place. Upo means underneath. So it's the underlying substance of the universe is what substance means there. And so I've got a translation from the New English translation, which kind of updates it a little bit. Now faith is being sure of what we hope for, being convinced of what we do not see. So what we know is that faith is about things that we don't see. It's not about material things that we do see. I don't have to have faith in this piece of paper because I've got my hand on it, I see it, it's a physical thing that I'm holding. So I don't need to have faith in this piece of paper. But faith then is about things that we don't see. And how do we see the things that we don't see? We see them by not looking through our physical eyes, but beginning to look through our spiritual eyes. So Eric Butterworth said, religious teachings and teachers have conditioned us to think of faith as a magic catalyst that makes God work for us. In no way does faith make God work, nor does it release some kind of miracle power. Faith simply tunes into and turns on the divine flow that has always been present. we're basically aligning ourselves with the flow. We're waking up to the flow of the energy of the universe as it continues all around us all the time to flow and to create and to bring love into the world. So exercising faith then requires attending to the unseen world rather than the seen world. We experience the seen world through our senses. Most of us talk about the 5 senses. There's a lot more senses that we have, like sense of balance. Sometimes we have a sense that somebody's standing behind us. When they're standing behind us, that's a physical sense too. So there's 20 to 23 different senses that have been identified. But most of us talk about the 5 senses. The sense of sight, sense of hearing, taste, smell, and touch. Well, what we experience in the unseen world, we have senses in our spiritual body as well. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is just one of those. When we see in the unseen world, and we're seeing through our spiritual eyes, we have a sense of awe. We develop that ability to just be amazed at what's happening, at what we're sensing. And so awe is that sense of seeing the unseen world. In the book I'm working on that hopefully will be done in early 2019, Consciousness Rising, Spirit's given me some passages, and this is one of them. Awe is a direct experience of the fabric of the universe manifested by consciousness. It is seeing the world as it really is rather than as our physical visual apparatus perceives it. Awe has the effect of catching your breath when you see the majesty of a mountain, the grandeur of a vista, or the expansiveness of the ocean. It is, that was the ocean, yeah.
Sound effects.
It is the moment of recognizing one's physical insignificance in the manifested existence. Awe creates the ecstasis experience of needing a microscope to see oneself in the world. So it's that sense of standing outside of yourself and going, wow, I'm just part of this whole movement, this whole thing. Now, we don't often talk about this, but I would imagine that every one of you in this room has had that experience of awe, where you're just beyond words. You're just dumbfounded by the birth of a child, or watching the waves on the beach, or seeing a sunset. All of those experiences take us deep into our spiritual sense of seeing the unseen, the fabric of the universe as it unfolds. And there's a famous quote that I know you guys are familiar with. Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. So what I'd like to do is take a moment and help us to see whether we can get into that place where we can experience awe. Sometimes it's hard to do when we're using our physical sense of sight. But this is a orchid picture that I took earlier this year. Can you see this with your physical eyes, but then move into seeing this orchid through your spiritual eyes? Can you see the awe in this picture? So, anybody want to share what is awe-inspiring about this picture? What brings you to that place of awe?
And welcomes you in the Christ arms.
Okay.
It certainly didn't begin that way.
It didn't begin that way, right? So oftentimes in our physical sight, we just get snapshots of the world, right? We just get one piece of what's happening instead of the whole unfolding. Dana,
I actually feel it's consciousness.
okay?
That center is actually looking like an eyeball to me.
Yeah,
And that's what brought me to the idea that there is a consciousness there. It's not just a living being, but a conscious being.
yeah, yeah.
The amazingness of nature.
The amazingness of nature, yeah, yeah.
It's in the peak of its beauty.
I'm sorry?
It's in the peak of its beauty.
Yeah,
No two things are alike on it, and yet it's perfect in its design.
yeah, yeah.
There's an omniscience about it,
All-knowing?
and
Yeah,
all omniscience.
yeah, those are all beautiful. Yeah, a couple more.
At first, well, like Melvin, I was seeing it one way, and then all of a sudden, the flowers were drawing me into themselves, as if those were arms embracing me. And
Mm,
I felt that I connected with its consciousness, the flower's consciousness.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
the center, there's like a depth that we don't even know that we could go into.
just an endless depth. Yeah. One more.
Those are not colors I would ever imagine going together, but they're perfect. And they're so beautiful.
Yeah,
Like dark purple and green, wow.
yeah,
Who would think?
yeah. So you're practicing faith right now because you're seeing the unseen in this flower. You're seeing what you can't see with your eyes, with your physical eyes. You're seeing this flower through your spiritual eyes. So that's faith. Let's try another one, which probably will be easier to get to, that sense of awe. And I'm just going to be silent while you watch this. don't think I need to say anything about that. That's what principle, that's what God does for each one of us when we connect to who we were born to be, to the essence within us. The essence within an acorn is an oak tree. The essence within you and me is Christ consciousness. So again, we know that exercising faith requires attending to the unseen world rather than the seen world. And we've got the 5 senses of the seen world. We talked about one sense of the unseen world. And I'm going to offer you some possibilities for what could be the senses of the heart that create our ability to see the unseen world. And we've talked about awe, hearing or auditory. The framework that was given to me is surrender. That's a sense of our heart that helps us to connect to Source. Taste, gratitude. Seeing how sweet life can be, how beautifully sweet and tasty it can be. Smell, discernment. Being able to discern between what's good for us and what's not good for us. Our sense of smell is one of our most acute senses. It's not as good as a dog's by a long shot, but discernment. And touch, connection. So when we attend to the unseen world with the senses of our heart, with awe and surrender and gratitude and discernment and connection, then we exercise our faith because we develop our senses to see what is real. And what is real is what we can't see with our physical senses. So these 5 heart senses in the framework that was given to me are all connected. They actually lead into each other, but there's no starting point, there's no ending point. And so discernment leads into connection. Connection leads into awe. Awe leads into surrender. Surrender leads into gratitude. Gratitude leads into discernment, and just keeps going. So, another excerpt from the upcoming book. While all of the heart senses can be developed and experienced independently of one another, there is a general progression of heart sense experiences. Discernment helps us find and know consciousness, so discernment precedes connection. Connection helps us feel a part of something bigger, so connection precedes awe. Awe helps us feel our disconnected individual power as minuscule compared to the power of consciousness, so awe precedes surrender. Surrender helps us to feel the power flowing through us to manifest in our physical life, so surrender precedes gratitude. This progression creates a virtuous cycle, expanding upon itself as human consciousness moves higher and higher toward consciousness. So, which lenses do you give the most energy to? Do you spend a lot of your energy in the physical lenses, the physical senses, or the spiritual senses, seeing the seen world or the unseen world? The lenses of the brain, the 5 senses of physical senses, help us to see the seen or physical world. The lenses of the heart then help us to see the unseen or spiritual world. So which ones weigh heavier for you in your life? Are you more a physical human, where the seen world lenses outweighs the unseen world lenses? I guess I've got a pointer on this too, don't I? Maybe. Anyway.
It is on.
Or, it is on, yeah. Or, are you more of a spiritual human, where the unseen world lenses outweigh the seen world lenses? Which one do you spend the most energy on? Which one do you develop and attend to? So, in summary, on this first Sunday of the 2018 Advent season, let us turn within to prepare our hearts for the birth of the Christ consciousness within us, using our heart senses to go to that place where we can see the real world that is unseen rather than the created world that is just an illusion. Let's use our spiritual senses to create the conditions for the second coming of Christ, our spiritual baptism. Thank you. Let's take a moment and go into meditation and practice some of these spiritual senses, these senses of the heart. I'd invite you to get comfortable in your seat. Put your both feet on the floor if you're comfortable doing that. Take a moment and check in with your body. Make sure it's comfortable and relaxed. Either close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that, or soften your gaze. And just take a moment and attune to your breath. Feel your breath coming in through your mouth or nose. Feel your exhale going out through your mouth or nose. As we move into this place of meditation, I'd invite you to move from the physical senses to the spiritual senses. Instead of seeing with your physical eyes, set your intention to experience awe. As you move away from listening to my voice or listening to any of the physical noises in the room, I'd invite you to move into that place of surrender with your spiritual senses. take a moment and activate your other spiritual senses of discernment, connection, and gratitude. And as we draw this time of meditation to a close, I'd invite you to bring into your awareness, into your waking self, these senses of the heart: awe, surrender, discernment, connection, and gratitude. Engaging the world by seeing it not as it appears, but it is as it really is, the underlying substance of our Creator, manifesting love in every moment. Now bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Come back into your waking consciousness, fully embodying the Christ consciousness that you are. And so it is.